Hey, welcome back everybody. Jeff Frick here with theCUBE. We are on the ground in Las Vegas at the Cosmopolitan Hotel and Resort at the GE Predix Transform 2016, the very first ever Predix Developer Conference, and lo and behold, but who do we see? Somebody we see at all the conferences that we go to, Gene Kim, the co-author of the Phoenix Project. I'm like, Gene is here, we got to get him on. Gene, great
Jeff,
to see you.
always great seeing you again.
Absolutely. So you're obviously a big, famous for your DevOps books and DevOps point of view and kind of driving the DevOps world. What are you doing here at Predix?
I'm here mostly learning. In fact, I'll be talking later today, but I think anyone who sat through the opening sessions this morning, I probably had a sense of awe and amazement about the mobilization of developers solving the problems of the industrial internet. And I think I was sort of joking with someone before about, we often joke that in the IT operations world, there's a lot of ticketing being passed back and forth in order to do kind of tactical things, but to hear the level of ticketing required to go from pulling the data from the jet engine, to the analytics platform, to mobilizing, scheduling work with the carriers. I mean, it's just a delight to learn about.
Well, really this kind of synergy of the IT and the OT coming together.
Right.
Dr. Tom Bradish talks about it at HP.
Yes.
These two worlds that have existed now really starting to come together in a new
wrong?
different way. Yeah, what could go wrong? Hopefully nothing when you got, I don't even know how much a locomotive weighs, a lot, or a jet engine in the air, but it's pretty interesting times. The other thing that is not really surprising, but interesting, is how software-y this really is. I mean, everyone we've talked to today really comes from a software background. They're from the Valley. They've worked in all kinds of VMware and EMC and Sybase and SAP. So they've really done a good job of bringing a true kind of software ethos into this group.
Yeah, and in fact, part of me is, when I say I'm learning a lot, I mean, it is really fascinating listening to the problems that need to be overcome when you're talking about, business processes that involve high heat, high pressure, corrosive chemicals, things that can crush, entire limbs, things with an operating life of decades. So, I think it's just amazing to see that so many of these tools and techniques that we've developed in the software space, in the classic software space, is now being used, in the most capital-intensive part of the business, which is really the industrial things like oil refineries and airplane engines and so forth. It's just it's a delight to see.
Right, but they're still kind of taking a DevOps approach in time. Start small, don't go big, find an easy win, get it in, get it quick and easy win, and then expand. So it's not like, I'm sure, the unbelievable process to actually design and build and deliver a brand new jet engine for a new plane. Very different ball game.
In fact, I heard exactly what you heard. I mean, the same sort of principles that we apply in the DevOps space, which really come from the lean community, are now being applied across the entire value chain that spans manufacturing, operations, maintenance, right? That can involve scores of organizations. But it's the same thing, right? We don't want to open up tickets to trigger manual work. We want all that visible. We want to be able to detect problems quickly so that we can prevent problems from happening. And if something does go wrong, we want to detect and correct for it quickly. I mean, those are all, I think, would make a lot of sense to someone, whether we're dev or ops. But to see that applied in this even bigger domain is quite exhilarating, I think.
Right. And like you see all the time, the competition for developers, everybody wants developers. Every conference we go to has developer tracks. They're desperate for developers. They want to wear t-shirts, not wear ties, and be cool.
Yeah.
But they got 1,700 people here, Gina, their very first event. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, in fact, I think that confirms, I think an intuition that many of us had, which is that, that the value being created using kind of DevOps principles and practices, it's not going to be created in the unicorns, the Google, Amazon, Facebook, and so forth. It's really going to be created in organizations really represented here, right? It's the largest brands in every industry vertical, that are consuming the majority of where the economic activity is actually occurring. There's no doubt in my mind that, the productivity that things like this will create will elevate every dev and ops engineer so that they're going to be as productive as if they were at a Google, Amazon, or Netflix.
Right,
and so when we do that, we're talking about trillions of dollars of annual economic value. So that's an exciting place to be.
So we're short on time. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day, but I gave us a little secret. Something's coming out So I want you to give a little plug for what people can be looking at Amazon. I assume Amazon.
Yeah, people are making fun of me.
future.
So finally, after almost 6 years of work, the DevOps Handbook is coming out. That book was actually supposed to come out before the Phoenix project in 2013.
You don't have to admit to that. Nobody knew that.
Oh no, everybody knows, right? So it's finally coming out in October. So I'm so happy that we're now weeks away from the book being out.
The DevOps Handbook. That's the one to look for in October.
In
a bookstore near you.
Right.
All right. Well, Gene, thanks a lot for stopping by. Glad we could kind of grab you out of the aisle there.
Jeff, thank you so much as always.
Absolutely. Gene Kim, I'm Jeff Frick. You are watching theCUBE from the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas at Predix Transform 2016.